Hi, and happy Mother's Day, and welcome to the Mama Faye Live Conversations. And I want to say welcome to uh, Facebook, YouTube, and Substack. And today we're going to talk about 8 powerful ways you know that you have been raised by a powerful mother. And so I'm going to go through these 8 ways, but I also want you to comment about different things as I talk. Hopefully, it'll bring many things to your memory about yourself if you're a mom, about your grandma, and it will, enlighten your heart and hopefully it'll give you a happy day. And so the first one, we're going to get right into it. The first one is teach your mom teach you how to take care of yourself. And if anybody know a great mom, will go and they will check you and say, baby, you got to take a bath now. And baby, don't forget to get that deodorant and get the deodorant and brush your teeth and make sure, baby, that you smell good. And if you would like me, after when they were real little and they were first starting to bathe themselves, I would say, okay baby, let me smell you, and I would smell them to see if they was using the soap, and they was making sure that they had actually took a bath, because you know how sometimes the little ones like to do. So one of the great ways you know that you got a great mom is knowing that they will teach you how to take care of your body. All right, number 2, they will put you in check when nobody else in the room know you're being checked. And I can say this for my mom. I don't know about you all, how your mom did, but when you look at your mama's face, like say if you in a room and say somebody talking to you, or you doing something that you were supposed to be doing, if you looked at your mama and your mama gave you this certain look, and nobody else could be able to see that they were putting you in check, my mama knew how to put me in check without saying a word, because it was something that she did with her eyes. And when she did that certain thing with her eyes, I knew that I needed to straighten up, or whatever I was saying was not right. And then my mama sometimes, like if she was sitting next to you, she'd give you a little, pinch, or she would give you a little, hit under the table. She was very good for checking you without having to say a word. So that's how you know, one of the ways you know you have a good mom. And then here's another one. If your mom will stand by you and fight for you. I don't know about many people, but a lot of times, even if you have one of those little quiet moms and they be so, the talk so soft and you can't hardly hear them and everything, and they just so yes, and they just so courteous, but let you come after one of their little babies or come after one of their children, they will come out like they are Muhammad Ali, and they will fight you to the end. So knowing that you have a good mom is one that is going to fight for you. And then here's one that we also know that you have a great mom. And that is when they give you, many moms, you give your last. Sometimes it ain't but one more piece of whatever it is, and you know that your babies need to eat. A lot of times you will sacrifice and give them so that they will have something to eat. So a lot of times moms will give their last. And then the fifth one is they will cheer you on. Many moms, I know I have been there, where you have to go to every recital. For those that have football games, I had music. That one was in music, and you had to go to all of those different concerts. And even though a lot of times you didn't really necessarily want it to go, but and a lot of times, to be honest, you wanted to go see your kids, but you didn't really was necessarily wanting to see all the other kids, and you had to sit there through the whole thing because you wanted to be there for your baby. And so you had to sit through the whole recitals, and a mom sit there through the good and the bad. And one thing about that is, even if when they do bad and you know they messed up really bad, you have to sit there and still try to hold a good face. You try to encourage them even while they're in the process of doing it. And you have to try to think of some type of way to make them feel like, they did something good, even if it was, baby, I know you tried your best. And because you want them to continue, because you know that it's a process. So you want them to continue to go out and do and be in front of people. And so you try to encourage them. And so a good mom goes to all of those different events and stay through them. A lot of times you have to pick other people up to in order as with your kids. A lot of times you have to bring snacks. You got to bring the different things because they want somebody to be the class mom. I don't know if they still do that nowadays, but many a times, if I was in the class mom, I was one of the group of moms who had to come to different things and go on the field trips and all of those things. So a good mom will be there to cheer you on. And then there is the mom that is the sixth thing, is that they will teach you about life. A good mom is going to tell you how it really is about life. They're going to tell you certain things. I can't get to it because this is not an adult only show, but a lot of times they have to tell you as how to carry yourself, things that you should do and not do. And a good mama always, back then, see, now y'all have cell phones, but back then we didn't have cell phones. So they always made sure to say, you better have a little bit of change or some money on you. So in case you need to call somebody to come get you, to come get you out of trouble. You all know, especially with those of you when you first started dating, they would tell you, make sure you got some money so you can call in case you need somebody to come and pick you up. So a good mom is going to make sure that they tell you about the ways of life and how to cope with life and how to get through things. And sometimes no matter what, they'll encourage you and say, oh, baby, it's going to get better. Life's going to get better. This is they have a certain way of making you and reassuring you that it's all right, even though the inside of them, they may be scared. They may be feeling like, oh, Lord, is it going to be all right? But you tell the baby it's going to be all right. Everything's going to be all right. And a good mom will tell you the truth. Many a times, mamas will tell you, say, I don't know where you think you going, but you better go back in that room and you need to put on some more clothes. Because, back then, not now, but back then, they'll be like, honey, because you left half your skirt in the room. So you need to go back in there and put on the other part of your skirt. Or they say, I don't know what's going on with your hair, but you need to go back there and do something else with your hair. Because that don't look right. That don't look good. And a lot of times they would tell you, don't go out there and be embarrassing me going out there looking any kind of way. You make sure that you look right and you make sure you dress the part. And so a good mom is going to tell you the truth. A lot of times they would tell you the truth about a relationship. A lot of you didn't want to hear it because I really listened to my mom. But a lot of you didn't want to hear it, but they told you that person wasn't no good for you. And you still didn't want to hear it. You wanted to do it anyway. But a good mom will tell you that right there, that ain't gonna work out. That ain't gonna that no. You need to let that go. So a good mom will tell you the truth. And number 8, a good mom will sacrifice. A lot of times they may have things that they want to do or places that they want to go, but a good mom have sacrificed, and you all know that the sacrifice that was made. And I think that's probably one of the biggest reason why on Mother's Day is such a celebrated holiday, because so many people remember if they didn't have a good mom, it was a grandma. If it wasn't a grandma, it was the aunties. Let's not sit on these aunties that have stepped in and stepped up in place of moms when moms couldn't do it. A lot of aunties had to step up and step and get in place and in position to help and be there, because if mom didn't do it, auntie did. And they were sacrificing. A lot of times you didn't even know that they were sacrificing for you because they didn't complain. They didn't let you know that they were going without. Or maybe they wanted something and they said, oh, I could get that later. So I'm going to sacrifice from me having to because I want my child, to have. A lot of times, I've seen this happen too, where a lot of people will look at a woman, and because she's not, her hair is not like, what she didn't get like that, the big nice hairstyle, and you look at her clothes and maybe she don't have the designer brands on, and you look at her nails and they're not done, and you look at, how she look, and you think, oh well, she must don't like dressing up, she must don't like, all of that, she don't like jewelry, or she don't like, being fancy, that's just her. No, a lot of times those moms, the reason why they're walking around looking like that is because they sacrificed and said, instead of me getting this ring, or instead of me getting, my hair done, I'm going to make sure that my children all have what they need first before I go stepping to try to make sure that I have. I'm going to make sure I look decent. But a lot of times you only have but so much in the budget. And if that's all you have in the budget, sometimes you will sacrifice and say, hey, let me divvy this out among everybody. And then I'll figure out what I'm going to do and how I'm going to dress and what I'm going to do. So that's a good mom that sacrifices. And so this brings me to the final one. And I had 8, but I made it 9. And this is the most important one today. The good mom will pray for you like their life depend on it. And today I want to talk to you about the power of a praying mom. And here's my story. When I was pregnant with my first child, I had what they call preeclampsia. And I talk about the story in the Mama Faye Becoming Me podcast. I go into the story in detail, but this little aspect of the story, I'm not sure if I shared it in that particular podcast. And it's called Becoming a Mom. And what I talk about is how I, went to the doctor, and the doctor told me to go straight to the hospital because my blood pressure was up, and then he had did some labs, and my labs were way out of whack. And at the time, I wasn't really understanding, but now having studied in that field of nursing, I realized that I was really in danger of seizing. And a lot of times, what happens is once you start seizing, they can't get you to stop seizing. So he told me to drive straight to the emergency room, and that he was calling the hospital, letting them know that I was on my way and that I was coming. Well, I didn't go to the emergency room. I went home at home. So the doctor called me at the house, and he said, I told you to go to the emergency room. Why did you not go to the emergency room? He's saying, because you didn't go to the emergency room like I told you to. He said that I'm getting off your case, because you're not going to no longer be under me, because I am not going to take the risk of something happens to you and the baby. So here I am, I'm crying because I'm about 3 to 4 weeks away from delivering. Where am I going to go to get another doctor? So I am upset and I'm crying. And I talked to my mom. And my mom, being the praying woman that she was, she prayed about it. And she said, Faith, she said, I'm going to talk to the doctor. So I gave her the number and I said, okay. And so she talked to the doctor. And the doctor, after she got finished talking to the doctor said, okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to stay on the case, but she has to do everything I tell her to do. And because my mom was a nurse, she said, and because you're a nurse and you'll be there to help take care. And she said, yes, I would take responsibility for, making sure that she do what she need to do. So my mom, the instructions were that I had to come to the doctor's office every 3 days, and in the meantime, I had to be on complete bed rest. I had to use a potty. I couldn't even walk to the bathroom, even though it was closed. I had to lay on my right side for those 3 weeks. And my mom made my meals for me, which I couldn't have any bread, any pasta, anything like that. I could only drink water, meat, and vegetables. And that was it. And my mom stuck by me for those 3 and prayed for me because, like I said, it was very, very serious and I could have ended up seizing. But my mom, who was a praying mom, prayed me through that process. And while I was in the hospital, and I had to end up with surgery, and I talk about that whole process. So it's the power of a praying mom, because a praying mom can see you in danger, and a lot of times they may see you in danger and they may not be able to reach you. Like, and when I say reach you, meaning reach your spirit, they may not be able to reach your heart. You may not be willing to listen to what it is that they are trying to say to you. Because to tell you the honest truth, I was so young that I didn't even think of that I could have been, hurt or killed or anything like that. But my mom knew this. Seemed like she knew the how this could really impact my life. And a lot of times when you cannot reach that child, the prayer of a mom. And at that time, my grandmama was alive. So I'm sure my grandma was a praying mom too. And so she was a praying grandma. So that prayer that they prayed for me helped me to come out of that and to recover. And it also helped my unborn child to come out without any deficits and without anything. And also he was born at term. So I wanted to leave that story with you about how a mom, that when you know that you are being raised by a good mom, I wanted to leave those with you. So if you all have any comments and you have other ways that you know that you got a good mom, please drop that in the comment. Or if you can resonate with what I just said, I also want you to drop that in the comments. And I want to say to everyone, a happy, happy Mother's Day. And those of you who are still in the thick of the motherhood, just know I just gave you 9 tips of how to be a great mom. So use those tips to help you to become a great mom, or to continue to encourage you to continue to be a great mom. And I want to take this opportunity to ask you to listen to the weekly podcast. I have one drop every Tuesday and Thursday. And those are Becoming Me podcast, Mama Faye Becoming Me podcast, which is every Tuesday. And then I also have the Understanding Cycles by Mama Faye, which comes out on every Thursday. And we're wrapping up that series that is Winning While Under Attack. So I encourage those of you that feel like you're being attacked and you feel like you're being threatened, hey, you might want to listen to that. And I also always appreciate those that support me on Substack, those that sign up for my newsletter. I really appreciate you taking this journey with me and being with me. And also, in the meantime, this also helps you to become, whether it's a mom, whether it's business, whatever it is that you're trying to become. I'm encouraging you each week to stay motivated to become the thing that you are trying to be. I know we got all this distraction. I know it's not easy right now. It's not easy, but if we can stay with it and we can endure it, we're going to get through it. But we got to stay with it and endure it, and we got to keep each other lifted up. And so and I hope for you all. I have lives, Mama Faith Live Conversations every Thursday. I will be live, usually between 1:30 and 3 o'clock. But if you put your notifications on, you'll catch me on a live. So that is all for today, and I will see you next time. Happy Mother's Day.